Welcome to Roll for Mischief,
Oh no.
your favorite nerds. We are a weekly Dungeons and Dragons stream here on Kerry is making noises. Why do you do this to me?
Because
What's up?
you're glitchy and out of time and
Oh,
out of sync and
Roboting.
stuff. It's yeah.
there is no reason for my internet to be problematic today. So, am I better yet?
It's okay.
Okay. Well, let's roll that again. Welcome to Roll for Mischief, your favorite nerds. We are a weekly Dungeons and Dragons podcast here on Twitch, where we tell character-driven, emotionally devastating, serialized stories with D&D as our frame. We are streaming every Tuesday, 12 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock GMT. And if you don't live in those time zones, tough. I'm not doing the math for you. This is a mature stream. It is for mature audiences. Don't let your kids watch it. I will say fuck a lot. And also there's, plenty of triggering content and emotionally devastating things that happen. With that being said, you can always find us on our social medias. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We post these videos up on YouTube for you guys to archive. They're up here on Twitch for 2 weeks after we stream them. And we have a podcast that is going to start releasing on Tuesdays. So pretty much there's that. And then if you want to talk with us on Discord, I'm usually around. Everyone else is in varying degrees. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and talk about our recap from last session. Because speaking of emotionally devastating, last session was a lot of big reveals, I think. Really kind of the meat of what the story is going to be focusing on. The party was separated after, coming together in the obelisk room. And, splitting the party is always a wonderful idea. We had Silene and Artemisia wind up in a study. We had Tara and Amelia wind up in an alchemist lab, while Berin and Visik found themselves in some kind of research facility for horrors. Silene and Artemisia were able to have some time to just kind of talk and learn some things. Artemisia reminded Silene of bits of her past that she couldn't remember, specifically centering around her relationship with Visik. And then at some point in that, as Artemisia got weaker and weaker before she fell unconscious, she did put her ring into Selene's hand with some sort of vague hint as that fell along the lines of "he will help you" or something like to that effect. After Artemisia went unconscious, Silene, hearing noises and crashing and bangs against one of the walls in the study, frantically began looking for a way out. She found a spell book, which became relevant later, and then she, with the help of a friend, was able to find a secret door leading out of the study. While Berin and Visik were in this lab, and Visik was showing some subtle signs of discomfort and distress at the state that these horrors were in. There were a few that were being dissected essentially. There were many in formaldehyde tanks. They were mind flayery creatures and masses of flesh, but very clearly Visik recognized them as horrors from the mist. And as the two of them were looking for a way out, they heard a very deep roar that brought back some of Berin's past, some of his losses. He confided his history to Visik, and then the two of them set out after, the monster that he was, I guess, looking for. Tara and Amelia were in the alchemist's lab, where Amelia promptly fell on, from the fall into the lab, on a table where she was immediately exposed to a concoction of unknown alchemic formula that began to transform and twist her body almost immediately, and her mind at that, because as soon as her body transformed, she lunged at Tara. And at this point, Tara was barely holding it together. A lot of emotional strain, just watching someone get killed, realizing that this is all going wrong. She felt herself becoming overwhelmed, and at the apex of that emotional distress, she's now being attacked by a monstrous person that was once one of their companions. she also in turn transformed into her monstrous visage, and the two battled, making all kinds of noise and clatter that Silene got to hear, until finally they busted through the wall from the alchemist lab into the study. And Silene, observing these two fighting monstrous forms right near the end of their combat, just completely stun locked. She was unable to process what she was seeing, and by the time she came to, there was a dead monster and there was a passed out Tara. And also about the same time was when Berin and Visik broke through the door. They also didn't see much. By the time they busted into the alchemist's lab and looked into the study, there was a dead monster and an unconscious Tara. The group had a moment to regain themselves. Using one of the spells in the spell book that Silene had found, they were even able to hold back Artemisia's impending death. And once they had gathered themselves together again and were ready to find an escape, they went through the secret door Silene had found, wound up in some form of chapel, something that is, if you find them here, it's very old, essentially, or rare. And in that chapel, there were beings that seemed to be made out of mechanical bits that weren't fully finished. Something like 30 of them in the room. And at the far end, on the podium of the chapel, was a strange burlap sack that, upon Silene lifting, also lifted the podium it was on, revealing the staircases on the wall not far from that podium, leading up and out of this chamber. And that's pretty much where we left off. So we're going to start with Alex. We're going to start talking about our feelings. So I'm going to shut up and you're going to go. Boom.
First, though, we should do just quick introductions again. I am Alex. I play Silene Vermilion. She is a bard. And that's all I'm going to say about her.
I'm Matt. I play Berin Fourmark, the grumpy old half-orc, who is essentially Selene's animated bag holder until he loses the bags.
That is true.
And I'm Kerry, and I'm playing Tara Braun, the human wizard / now we know monstrous barbarian.
And I'm Asa. I am DMing this session, and I will usually be playing Visik Alrius, who is weird. He is just a weird chap. Now we can talk about emotions.
Yep. Yeah. So this was kind of a doozy for Silene because there are some things that she has buried. And one of those things is the realization that her memories of before whatever the thing happened, she does not. Her memories from the age of 15 and earlier are just kind of vague, and they're kind of like distant childhood memory level. And occasionally one will just show up and she'll be like, oh yes, that's a memory that I've always had and been able to retain. And then other times they're just completely gone. And she has zero memory of what happened to her to put her in this very clear before and after state, both of which she ended up admitting to Artemisia. And let's face it, part of the reason she did is because some part of her kind of believes that Artemisia is not going to survive. But this is information that she has kept very close to her chest and not admitted to really anyone else. I don't think she's even admitted it to her own parents. And yeah, so now she just got smacked in the face with that knowledge again, and it caused her to act out a little bit. Finding out that she was a mean girl, essentially, to Visik. She could have had a bunch of different reactions to that, but her reaction was to decide to be meaner to him. She believes that her past self probably had a reason, I guess. And there was the moment where she just completely blanked, like just white noise, just nothing going on in her mind completely stunned when the monsters came through the wall. And that is one thing that she is very aggressively not thinking about. So this is going to be a whole lot of her just like pushing all of this stuff down into like just burying it so she doesn't have to think about it, and then charging forward. So I imagine she's going to be obnoxious.
I think we decided Matt would go next.
Yeah, so sorry, I'm in work mode because I'm wearing my work headset, so I'm just like, quickly get the, wait, no, I don't use that microphone anymore. So Berin is a little bit conflicted at the moment of all the possible outcomes of being dropped into this weird next level of mansion. Never thought that Visik would be the one he'd be stuck with. They do seem to have a little bit of a rapport, but Berin is usually quite short with him. Can be quite accommodating as well, but also, you know, as Tara was saying previously, you know, we've been here a long time. We would like to get out, please. Okay, we've had enough of this. Oh, what's going on? We need to help things. Help things? No, we need to help ourselves get out of here. Now it's reached the stage we need to get out of here because it's not getting any better. And then being dropped into this sort of alchemical laboratory is weird in of itself, but all of the horrors just displayed for Berin to see, and this mermaid sprawled out on a desk, it's disconcerting. It's super disconcerting. You're used to these kind of things traveling the mists and, you know, just random bits of gore kind of lying on the side of the road. It's not your usual, you know, roadkill at this point. It's, you know, monsters have done this, but it's turning, shall we say, Berin's stomach a little bit in the wrong way. We've got this massive roar that just it is the world's biggest trigger for Berin. This roar, he's heard it before. He hears it in his dreams. He hears it in his waking hours as well. Just, oh, oh, oh. I know that. I know that roar incredibly well, and I need to find the source of this roar. I need to find it again. I just need this. And that's when Berin just is almost all sense completely gone. I need to find this. Boosh! Crashing into the room. Tara's there. Oh, that's great. Ooh, look, there's all of this, like, pink smoosh. Kill it! Boom. A little bit scary, I would say. Berin was raging, like absolutely raging at this point, because, I mean, yay, Tara's alive, that's great, but she killed this monster that screamed, god damn it. And yeah, Berin, and that just, it was almost like a cathartic, I'm going to smoosh this smoosh with his sword. At that point, you can't just put in big capital letters, don't look at chat. That makes me look at chat. That there was the smoosh, then I was like, okay, Tara's here. That's good. Silene, you're here. That's great. Artemisia is in the net. Oh, fine, I'll go get her from the next room. But whatever you do, stay still, don't do anything, because I swear to everything that is holy, or lack of holy in this place, that if you do anything else, I don't want to fall through this floor again. And it's just it's hard to pick out a single word as I do, but conflicted, I think, is going to be the best way for Berin. There's old wounds are being reopened, and Selene's causing trouble.
Okay.
All right.
Tara, I mean, honestly, it's a pretty solid recap done already. She's just at the minute exhausted. That whole ordeal was completely exhausting for her. I guess the one thing to sort of mention is that she has now told 2 different stories. There's definitely different elements of what she's told different people of what happened in the room with Amelia. Truth is, she doesn't remember. She remembers. Well, she would remember the struggle and the moment before the change, but other than that, she's very much trying to cover up the fact that she doesn't actually know, while also not wanting to admit to the others that, you know, she just killed one of their party members. So she did also tell the group that this monster ate Amelia, that she had nothing to do with it. But then they found themselves in this new area with a sack on a plinth thing. She sort of hung back, actually bonding with Visik slightly, helping him, or like teaching him to whistle without the pipes. Matt's just going crazy. Which, you know, sort of brought them a little bit closer together, I guess. And then, yeah, this new set of stairs revealed itself. She just doesn't. She's feeling it's very like a numb. It's a numb kind of hollow feeling at the minute, that just that pits of exhaustion and weariness. I mean, it's been a long night. Yeah, that's kind of it, really.
Okay. Well, I gotta hit here. So I'm gonna mute myself a bunch. I have a cough, and nobody wants to hear that. So you're standing in this chapel room, and you know it is a stone room, pretty bare bones, few pillars, these half-formed humanoid mechanical beings along the sides, and you're standing on the altar area in front of a podium. The room is filling with a chill coming from the upstairs. Once the grinding sound of stone against stone ceases, showing these stairways, there's just silence in the room. Silene, you can feel the weight of the bag that you've just picked up, despite the fact that it appeared empty. But as you look down at it, you notice that it is no longer a simple burlap sack. It has changed appearance. Would you like to tell us what it now looks like?
Ooh, I get to decide what it looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Oh, let's see. What stylish accessory would Silene like to have? So it is it's an over the shoulder handbag style, but large. So it looks kind of it's not like a little purse. It's a decent sized looking handbag that is black leather with colored leather appliques on it in a floral design and fancy stitching. And it like everything else that Silene owns, it looks like a work of art. And I imagine she looks down at it and gasps and says, "What? What is this?" And then immediately, without thinking, goes to open it up.
Anybody else going to do anything with that?
Silene, please don't.
I mean,
Think
if you say
about
it like that,
things.
she's already opening it.
No, stop. No.
You open it, look inside, and you just see kind of like a deep well of darkness. Like, I would say Tara's probably close enough that the light of her wand should illuminate into the bag and like kind of show you the inside of an empty bag. But it just looks like it keeps on going.
Oh. Okay. Uh, she'll close it back up again and like look at it from all angles and just be like, this is so fashionable. And then put it over her shoulder and kind of look around and see what other people are doing, and then kind of just like super casually say, so my bag has changed appearance and I can't tell what's inside of it, and maybe someone with a little more knowledge of magical things could help me look at it.
Tara will, she shifts the dog, so she's kind of holding it with one arm and then just sort of holds a hand out for the bag.
Yeah, Silene will hand it over a bit reluctly.
Opens it up, has a bit of a look at it. I mean, I'm just going to say as a wizard, she's going to recognize that, like,
what it is.
Like the properties of it, surely.
Yeah, it's most likely a bag of holding. There's the potential of it being a bag of devouring, as those are designed to look just like bags of holding until you reach inside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She'll say, like, she says, probably a bag of holding. I mean, easiest way to tell is to stick your hand in. But she'll like hold it so it like flops up in a bit and sort of gestures to Silene to put her hand in, and says, think of something that someone might keep in a bag. Usually with these things you have to think about what you want to take from it. I mean, it's a bit hard because obviously there could be anything in here, but...
Okay, Silene, absolutely trusting what Tara says and not knowing that there's such a thing as a bag of devouring at all, will blithely reach her hand in and think of a blank notebook.
Okay. Roll a d10.
Mm. Do I have one out here? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Here we go. There it is. Oh, no. That's a one.
You reach in and think of a notebook, and then you feel your fingers kind of close on a book. And as you go to reach it out, you have the sensation as though someone is caressing the back of your hand. And then you pull out a notebook that, as you open it, is in fact blank.
Are you supposed to, she says to Tara, when you go in and pull something out, are you supposed to feel anything else in there? Like, or touch anything else? Or is anything else in there supposed to be touching you?
Not usually. I mean, it depends on what you put in there. I mean, usually living things don't live very long in there. I mean, what did it feel like? A hand or fur or?
Maybe I just feel like I was being touched back, like something touched my hand.
Well,
it was a little sexual.
Tara ignores that. Just blank look. Zero response. You could try again and think about a hand or a person or whatever it felt like. If we want whatever it is to come out, I mean, who knows? But
maybe something we should save for later. I don't know. I don't know.
Although then I would worry if there is something in there that's alive, which one, it isn't really possible, but let's just move past that. If it's in the bag and it's been kept down here for a reason, and then we take the bag and we leave this place, and then we end up releasing whatever it is out there rather than leaving it in here.
Okay. Silene will put her hand back into the bag and think about someone else's hand.
Again, roll a d10.
5.
You think of someone else's hand, and then you feel a hand in yours, like you're shaking hands, and as you pull it out, you pull out a severed hand.
Did it feel like it was alive a moment ago
No.
when it was shaking hands? It was just there.
Oh, when you felt the caress, you just felt like
Yeah, when I was in
something
the.
on the back of your hand, like someone rubbing their hand against the back of your
Oh,
hand.
I see. Not so deliberate. Silene will drop it instantly on the ground.
Huh.
Ah.
Interesting. And what exactly did you think about?
Just a hand of whoever was, whatever hand was in there. A hand to greet, I guess.
Either way, very specifically and successfully guessing at what a complete stranger has put into this bag, or something else is happening.
Yeah.
Try one more thing. One totally
something
out there.
Random.
Yeah.
Got it. Instantly, she plunges her arm into there and thinks a cello.
All right. Roll me
She
a
has
d10.
dreams. That would be a 10.
You feel the neck of a cello come to your hand, and as you pull it out, just big old bone cello out of this bag.
Yeah, I don't think that this was in here originally. That's very she's actually like grinning and like looking the cello over and like checking its quality and like plucking some of the strings.
And it feels real?
Does it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It feels real. It's not a particularly high-end cello. It's the kind of thing you could just kind of I wouldn't say buy anywhere, but it's like it's old.
It'd be like a student cello or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's real.
Is it in tune? Is it out of tune?
Oh, it's out of tune. It's terribly out of tune.
Ugh.
Got at least one broken string.
She it's got a broken string. That's even sadder. 2 seconds later, she puts her hand back into the bag for a cello string, whatever. It's like the G string or the E string or whatever, like, and thinks about that.
That does not come to you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's helpful to know, although now I am sad. She resists the urge to tune the other strings because there's really no point until you get another one in there. And regretfully tries to put it back into the bag.
Okay. Yeah, you can fit it.
All right.
I keep forgetting when I'm muted and not when I'm not muted. You can fit it in. Yeah, not a problem at all.
Okay. And then she does a little dance, a little happy dance, because she doesn't want to look a gift bag in the mouth. Literally. If it comes with a cello, then it's the best things happen to her all day.
That's funny. All right. So Berin, this whole time you've been watching, probably in horror, as Silene just pulls things out of this bag without really concerning yourself with what threats might be inside. You begin to get the distinct feeling that you're all being watched.
So the first thing Berin wants to do is double check. Does that hand that was pulled out, does that look like a Borstad hand?
It does not.
Okay.
It is just a hand.
Interesting.
It's a human hand, actually, to be specific.
Nope. Oh, human hand. I'm trying to think. Who's the only human we know here? So
she still has her hand.
Or does she?
Can you imagine if she Silene puts her hand into the bag, pulls out her hand, and Tara's like, my hand! It just gets like ripped off. Oh. It's the worst bag of holding I've ever seen.
Right? It's like it's a bag of taking. You get what you want, but you're taking it from someone else.
Oh,
That's
that's
a really
cool.
good magic item.
Ace is taking notes now.
Oh, I do like that.
All right, Patreon stuff. Got it.
There.
Future things.
So, obviously, all of this is happening. Baron's just, oh god, no, now I have an Artemisia and a cello to take with me. Great! Put it back in the bag, and then just take the bag, and then at least you just have to carry a bag. But it's fine.
And that's what she did.
I know, but you'll bring it out at the most inopportune of times.
No, that is true. That is true.
So this feeling of being watched, is it, do I feel like it's coming from a specific place, or just that feeling you're just like, somebody is watching me here?
Why don't you roll me an insight check?
Because I'm terrible at it.
That's a good. You gave me a reason. Now I'm gonna say I would like you to roll an insight check.
That's a 9.
You just have the general feeling as though you are being watched. That like kind of creepy up the spine.
Yeah.
This isn't right.
So
Heebie-jeebies.
at his earliest convenience, Berin is going to start making his way towards the doors that opened the stairwell, just looking to see, is this going to be the best way out for us, or is this more traps?
I gave my answer in chat, although I was talking about magic items.
Yes.
You need to say it out loud.
Yes.
So-
Oh, I was gonna
How
let
this
Matt
works.
say it out loud. Matt's the guy who's got to deal with the podcast stuff. I don't know. I'm just
Yes.
gonna hit at things.
Let me do some rolly rolls. Will I do a perception for any traps on the stairs leading out?
All right.
So close to a natural 20. So it's a 16.
You can see that the stairs are capable of moving. Like even stepping on them, they sort of like shift a little in place. But that is whatever mechanism was concealing them in the first place. You're pretty sure on that. You don't see any nothing obvious, no tripwires, no little holes that are going to drop ball bearings out of them. If these are illusory stairs, you're sure able to put a foot on them. So none of the traps so far seem to be anything that you're looking at here.
Okay, guys. I know you're having fun with your new toys, but I think we should really, really get moving. The stairs seem to be okay, and I think we seem to be able to get up them. Let's do this now. Where do the stairs lead?
That is a good question. From your current perspective, you can't tell. They just go up and kind of like into the dark.
Well, nothing bad has ever happened when you ascend to the darkness. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, usually it's descending that's the problem.
Nothing bad. Right. Okay, guys, are we ready? I'll take point. You guys stay behind me, okay?
Artemisia says, "It's about time we got moving."
Oh, you're awake.
Yes. Just watching all of this going on. Thought it was quite fun.
She's just been watching whilst draped across.
Draped over Baron's shoulder, watching you pull things out of bags.
So then Silene says, "So I don't even have to tell you. I just inherited a cello and a bag that holds a cello."
She just nods, and then Visik says from up by the stairs, "Probably best we go sooner rather than later. Come on."
Right. Selene just like smiles at everyone, just this huge grin. She is so happy right now, and it's very stupid considering the situation, but this is like a dream come true for her. So she's just like smiling at everyone. She pets the dog. She like falls into place behind someone else, and she's like looking at her bag. She's completely totally prepared for any sort of adventure at this point.
All right. What's the marching order up the stairs? You can only go one at a time.
Berin first, I think.
So Baron's going to go first with his shield kind of out, just like, right, okay, everybody.
Are you shielding one arm and Artemisia's shoulder or the other arm? Is that the...
Yep, that's the image in my head. Just like, right, well, this could go wrong if I decide to change shoulders all of a sudden. Artemisia, protect me.
I think Visik is going number 2 just because he's...
Oh, is he?
Just because he was in a hurry.
Oh, Visik.
I did. That was totally not what I meant to say, but...
Now's not the time, man.
You know? Can't take it back now.
Then I would say that probably Silene is trailing behind, still like looking at her
Yeah, I
bag.
can imagine.
Okay. Gross.
Tara will take up the rear. Stop it.
Alternative phrases are terrible.
It's too late.
That's
Why
how
do
I
people let us talk?
Didn't say the word it in there.
Oh yeah, did we mention that this is a not safe for work channel? Did we mention this is for adults?
Yeah.
We mentioned that. We failed to mention that I'm about as mature as a 12-year-old. Oh my god.
Yeah, Tara will wand out, light cantrip on, sort of holds the wand sort of above her head to try and get as much light as possible for everybody else. Berin in mind she's at the back. And obviously Berin doesn't have light sword anymore because, I say light sword, flame sword, because he's not got that many hands.
Maybe he could have taken Borstad's other arm and then he'd be just fine.
Well, he doesn't have enough attached hands, I think.
Just in the laboratory. Does anybody have any needles and thread? I need to attach myself an extra arm.
Sew it on your chest. He's got
Nice
sword
to meet
arm.
you. Sorry.
Oh, we have a lot of random severed arms now, don't we?
Yeah, it's that kind of game. Yeah, we're still holding the dog. I mean, to be fair, she probably could put it down, but she's not gonna. And yeah, hold the wand up and try and light the way as much as possible.
Okay. So as you are continuing up the stairs, it's getting colder and colder. And as you come to the top, you open into a room that is made out of the same crude stone. There's a faint blue glowing light that is just sort of like it's more of like a mist that is just swirling about the room. And the interior of this room is just freezing, like below freezing. It's a pretty large room. There are slabs hanging from hooks in the ceiling. Very clearly, it's some sort of refrigeration room for meat. And as you guys kind of step into the room and get a better look, you start to realize these slabs of meat are like arms and legs, just bits of humanoid being. They're probably hanging about to your midsection, and there's really no way to progress through this room without bumping some kind of frozen corpse. What you guys gonna do?
Baron's just going to plow through.
Yeah.
All right.
I said through.
Deal with it, I guess.
I know.
It's kind of like, just right, okay.
Not a lot we can do unless we like. Oh god, no! But he does that. So it'd be like when you hold a tree branch back, and then it'll fling back and like slap the next person.
But it's fine because it will hit Artemisia first.
What? No, it won't. You're carrying her. It'll hit Visik.
But it'll go, and then it'll just grab. Well, I mean, Visik will probably just eat it. It's fine.
Visik walking behind with his mouth open.
God. He has not eaten flesh yet. Yes.
Oh god. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
no.
other than like
Oh, no.
trying to crawl underneath, I think we're just gonna have to grit our teeth and bear it.
Uh, Baron, two things are going to happen simultaneously. So I'm going to get your roll while I do the other part. But I want you to roll a perception check as you hold back this thing and move on, and then just like let it go. It smacks Visik in the face and then kind of swings back and forth. And as that's happening, this bit of flesh that you push back was actually an arm. And as it comes back after hitting Visik, Jesus, there's my second shot for the night. Uh, it's like swiping across. Who's third in the Silene is third in the marching order.
Yep.
Swiping
to the
across
back.
Silene, and it like the claws on the hand sharpen and scratch at you as you walk by. Does a 13 hit your AC?
It does not, but I do think that probably Silene shrieks a little.
Yeah, this arm very clearly tried to scratch you. What was your perception check there, Baron?
So the perception was 11.
Okay. You are unaware of said arm actually having moved on its own. But you do get the faint sense of movement further up in the refrigerator. But by that time, you've also seen what is a large iron door.
Okay, so I convey all this to the marching order. I'm just like, there's a large iron door, and I think I see movement. Also, Silene, shh.
Silene, her voice a bit more high pitched and panicked than it was a moment ago, says, "The arm, the arm tried to attack me
I don't know whether
with
to take
claws."
this with claws. Arms with claws are attacking you. Okay, well, then we should keep up the pace and try not to touch any arms then.
Did I see anything being like behind Silene?
Now that you're aware, you look at the arm that's kind of like swaying back and forth, and you can see that the fingers are contracting and like reaching and grasping, and the wrist is kind of trying to move and reach toward you. But it's more or less just stuck there swinging back and forth.
Oh. Ugh. Yeah. No. She's right. Let's just try and, like you said, stay away from them. Stay near the feet.
I
It's
think
better to be kicked than grabbed, right?
Make the path through all the hanging feet.
Yeah. If Berin continues like forward, just pushing things aside, then I think Silene will end up breaking formation to be like out of range of his swinging things and attempt like basically an acrobatics sort of maneuver to try and dodge between them instead.
All right. Yes, go ahead and give me a acrobatics maneuver to make your way through the room. Any of you who just barrel through, I'm gonna make an attack roll against. Just so as you know.
I've got acrobatics. I'm acrobatic. That would be a dirty 20.
Okay, you kind of acrobatic your way through as a way of describing how things work. You're able to like do just the bit where you move and kind of like squeeze your way and keep your body from actually connecting with anything that is.
She's got dance training.
Mm-hmm. At this point, as you've all continued to move forward, Baron, you've realized the movement you saw is actually these corpses that are starting to kind of writhe and move in place, trying to reach out towards any semblance of life nearby. So yeah, what are you doing since you're at the head of the marching order?
Top of his lungs, Baron's just going to say, there Silene was right. They're trying to. They're coming alive. Everybody, we need to move fast and try to avoid the limbs that are looking for you.
Visik nods and kind of like moves along with you just as a foot swings and kicks him in the face. Just after he gets kicked in the face, he very quickly pulls out that little puzzle box and does a few maneuvers, and just shimmering magic overcomes his body for a second. And as that happens, the foot comes back and kicks him in the face again. Yes.
I do want to just say really quick before we go too far along, the moment Berin said Silene was right, you just hear off to the side from the person who's like dodging through, just ha!
Tara is going to kind of watch all this, just very like straight-faced. Everyone's different approaches to the situation, and then she is now actually going to, because you said they were hanging down to like about your middle, right?
Mm-hmm. You're measuring in that area roughly.
She is actually going to attempt to crawl underneath them all. So she'll put the dog down in the hopes that it will follow her, and then just kind of crawl her way along.
Yeah.
Underneath.
So that is absolutely probably the most efficient method. You're hanging below where they're actually at, and you just are taking longer. How is Berin getting to the door? She just pushing his way through?
Yeah, Berin is just kind of hunkering down, trying to make his body as sort of small as he possibly can behind his shield, just kind of using his shield to bat everything around and try to fail and make a path for everyone to follow.
I will have you roll me an endurance saving throw.
What's
an endurance save?
Oh. Shit.
Strength?
What's the one? Constitution. I'm still stuck in 3-5 occasionally, sorry.
I was just like, is this 3-5? Is this Dungeon World?
Okay.
8 I add
22.
stuff. 22, yes, it's
Yeah,
plus
just
4.
told me on D&D Beyond.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so you are able to like barrel down and just boom, make a path. You even like unintentionally smash a few of the limbs and like the cords or ropes that are holding him like break, and just give Visik, who's following right behind you, a much cleaner path so he doesn't keep getting kicked in the face. So you shield bash your way through this. Visik is on your heels, taking advantage of that. Silene is you're just doing her best to like maneuver between the small gaps, and you get to the door, just boom, 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 the three of you, and then you look back, and here's Tara. She's made about half the distance you have, crawling along, and like crawling away from the occasional foot that you've knocked free, and there, like army crawling right next to her, is Spectre, just coming along too, and so you guys have a few moments before she reaches you. You're at the door. What would you like to do?
Is the door locked? What is the status of this door, and how can we open it?
If you push it initially, it doesn't give. But there is no mechanism you can see from your side that would actually latch and lock it.
It's going to be a pool door, isn't it?
It's a Polish door. It's got when you mesh the two words together. If you look at it, you see that it's on wheels and it's a slide door.
What is this new foul witchcraft? Doors are not supposed to be on wheels.
It's got like a wheel on top.
It's just, no. Okay, well, Berin will just push, hopefully slide.
You can slide it about 3 inches before it just like stops, and it'll like slide back and forth in that little gap, but it just like it's hitting something.
Okay, so is there anything on our side that looks like it's being trapped by the... is trapping the wheels, I should say?
So you look down and you see there's like a hand that is just grasped to the track that the wheel slides along. And it looks as though it's like frozen in place. A lot of severed hands in this part so far.
We really should have started a collection. We'd have a great collection by now. Berin's just gonna just stomp on it as hard as he can and hopefully shatter this frozen hand into a billion little pieces.
Make an attack roll.
Oh, bum 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 ba-dum bum ba-dum. Okay, so that is a 13 to hit.
That hits.
Oh, I did not expect that. So for
ever met a zombie? You know what their
strike would
AC
be like
is?
5 damage.
Yeah.
Just boof.
Oh, that's enough. Yeah, you just stomp down and the fingers all shatter, and you're able to like push them out of the way of the track. By the time Tara is able to like climb to the rest of the group, you're able to get that door to slide open. And it opens into a room that's, you know, fairly bit warmer. Looking into it, you see there are just shelves and shelves of things in jars, and on one side, and they look to be like preservatives and spices and all of that stuff. And on the other side, there is a bit of a garden going. It's like growing mushrooms and the sorts of things that would grow better in the dark than in than needing access to sunlight. And you've found your way to the pantry.
Silene she was kind of grossed out before. She was mostly freaked out. Now stepping into like a pantry slash like a thing that has food preparation in it, and then looking back at the freezer that had arms and legs in it, now she's grossed out and just like, oh my god, the Monarch eats people. Oh my god. Except for, of course, there are no gods, so insert appropriate phrase.
Oh, my Monarch. The Monarch eats
Oh no.
people.
Oh no.
What? This doesn't work.
Oh god.
Look, we don't even know by now if we're even underneath the Monarch's house anymore, or if that even was her house in the first place. Let's not jump to conclusions. This could be anyone's house, anyone's pantry.
Could it though, really? Because think about where we started out. Think about the courtyard that we went into, and then when we fell straight down below the courtyard, it's all on the same property. How would the Monarch not know that this would exist underneath her own castle?
I mean, magic? What if when we fell through one of the portals we went into a completely different place? What if we're not even in anywhere near her castle anymore? Castle? I don't know, she's leaving the castle at her manor anymore. Whatever.
Manor.
Look, we just don't know. We don't know. There's no point jumping to conclusions. I mean, I know that, you know, she's come off quite badly from this. But there still could be an explanation that, like, maybe that wasn't even her. Maybe this whole thing has been a trick, and now we need to go and tell her so she can arrest some people and stuff.
Okay, then we will figure it out once we get out. Silene does not sound convinced.
All right. So the exit to the pantry is opposite wall, right there. It's pretty not walking through corpses, obvious where it's at. The punchline to that joke is like a line lower. It's denial. She lives in a river of denial. All right. So what are you guys gonna do? You gonna check out this pantry? You gonna fall into any obvious traps? I mean, you gonna go ahead and leave?
Okay, let me just do a perception check, because now Silene at least is on edge and kind of freaked out.
Okay.
So I just want to kind of look at everything and see if there's anything that looks obviously terrible. But that's probably not going to do me a whole lot of good because that was not a great roll. Perception is where it's right there. 9.
Okay. You're testing the limits of Ace's ability to make this oddly terrible. You are a little distracted by the fact that some of the labels have things like bone dust. Some of the pickled vegetables also have things like pickled tongues. And you'll have something that's just like there's garlic, there's eyeballs, side by side. It's it's not wonderful.
It's Octo's terrifying cuisine all over again.
Kinda, yeah. It's like I was inspired unintentionally. Anyone else want to do anything?
Let's just keep going.
All right.
Baron
Baron's still
wants
at the front.
He wants to listen at the door. Sorry, stuffed crust. It takes a while to chew.
Okay.
We'll keep that in the podcast.
All right. So Baron moves forward and listens at the door. Roll me a perception check.
Oh, nice. 18.
Yeah, you kneel down and listen, at the door handle area. And you can hear sounds coming from the other side. You can hear like the clattering of pots and pans and the I guess like roaring of a big fire. You can hear the shuffling of feet. And you hear this like faint voice. You're not quite sure what the words are, but it sounds like someone is screaming obscenities. Like they're berating their cooking staff for some reason or other.
Okay, I relay this to the room in sort of a more hushed tone. Guys, there's somebody in the next room. They sound bad. They're shouting at someone. But I'm not gonna lie. Seeing as we walk through a freezer full of half-alive appendages, I have a horrible feeling that whoever this person is berating might not be too alive either.
Or just the kind of person that creates meals out of limbs of people. Might not be someone we want to just casually wander in and say hello to.
Ironically, I appreciate the input, Silene. I'm not saying we talk to her. I'm saying we get prepared for the worst.
Is there a possibility of trying to slip by?
I mean,
I mean,
Echo.
I mean, sure. I don't. I'm only listening through a door. Can anyone see any other way out of here, or is this just? Is it just this one door? Everybody, kind of quietly, search.
Okay. The room is fairly wide too. So you could go beyond the shelves of cooking material on the right side, or you could go into the gardening area on the left side and search more. That would require investigation rolls.
I will investigate.
Baron will not. I love having D&D Beyond up, and I just see your roll, and it's like, well, that's going to go poorly.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I had a 12.
Okay. Where were you investigating? What part of the room?
I'm sorry, what were the...
Garden or spices and racks?
Garden.
Okay. You go along and are looking around, and this is just like, it's like growing foliage and gets more out of hand the further you go in there. And you start to see like plant vines kind of like moving and trying to like reach out towards you as you come near the mushrooms that could like release spores, and you just observe the things that like if you get too much closer, you're going to end up putting yourself at some kind of risk. And you can make out the back wall enough to tell that it's, even if there's an exit over there, it's pretty well overgrown. Carrie, were you going to do an investigation?
Yeah, I've got 14. I'll just go the opposite way. I'll go spy. Whichever one Silene didn't do. Can't remember already.
Yeah. Did you roll your check yet?
14, yeah.
14, okay. I didn't hear it. Yeah, you go along that wall and you can hear, like as you're like looking through everything, you can see that just, this is all just spice racks and shelves and everything up along the walls. There's no obvious exits behind the shelves or anything like that, but you can hear the fluttering of wings above you. And what about that time is about when Matt is doing his wonderful investigation check. What were you investigating?
A better time to eat.
All right.
Which is why I rolled a 4, because yeah.
You got hungry after walking through the layers
through
of
the
human
freezer
flesh. Got it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And all I have to say is, if you haven't had a pickled eyeball, then you haven't lived. Goes great with a little craft brew from the little goblin down the road.
I think you've confirmed what was going on in chat earlier when they were asking what your stuffed crust pizza is stuffed with.
I'm just saying, if you haven't tried it, you just go for it. And yes, it wasn't just the tip. So moving swiftly on from that.
I was making the eyeball joke. I was going to move right past my comments.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, everyone else is just looking at me like, no. I was going to go for the garden, but obviously Silene kind of just went straight for it there. So I'm seeing as Selene's gone that way, Tara's gone the other way. Berin is just going to try and investigate the sort of central area that we're all in at the moment.
All right. So Berin is kind of in the central area looking around. He's investigating like my kids do. He's walking into the center of the area and just looking to his left, looking to his right. It's like, I don't see anything.
There's nothing here.
And Tara, you were hearing the flapping of wings above you.
Yeah, what kind of like loud, quiet? Like, is it just moths in a very quiet room, or is it like?
It's sort of the sound that you would hear in a cave full of bats, or like they're all roosting up on the ceiling, and like you hear the wings kind of flapping occasionally. But
she's gonna like very slowly look up and kind of raise her lit wand just to try and see what's up there.
I can't keep reading chat, you guys. This is really distracting. All right, you raise your wand up, and as you do, you are looking up and see several sets of eyeballs looking down at you, and realize they belong to faces, and those faces have wings growing out the sides of their head. And as soon as your light shines upon these, like, it's like a mix of mostly Dragonborn, a couple of humans, and a couple of orc heads with wings coming out their sides, and like just still the remnants of throat and neck and like whatnot dripping from them. They just jut down towards you, like over your head. And I think I'm gonna say there's 7 of them. So we'll go with 4 Dragonborn, 2 humans, and 1 orc. And they all flutter past you and make their way over towards Berin. And you're gonna get attacked. I just gotta roll. Okay. That's a natural 1. So I'm also gonna roll to see how many of them actually can reach you. So one of them swoops down near you, Berin, and just smashes into the ground at your feet. The other one, like, kind of like flutters over your head, and I don't think that a 12 is going to break your AC. Is that going to hit you? Okay.
Nope. No
You
chance.
get your shield up as its teeth kind of come crash, gnashing at you, and it just slams into your shield. The other 5 just kept swarming and fluttering, and now these 7 heads are just kind of fluttering and swarming at the top of the room, agitated, gnashing at you. It sounds like they're trying to growl in a language, but their ability to maintain speech is very much not there. I guess we can go ahead and say roll initiative if we want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Or just open the door, shove them through into the kitchen, and slam the door again.
Well, that's something we can do on initiative count.
Please roll better than me, everyone.
I'm working on it.
No, not
Okay,
you.
everyone except for Asa should roll better.
All right. I need to make a new tab for combat.
My initiative is 5.
Oh, same.
You're
All
at
right.
14.
So we have Berin at 5. We've got Tara at 14. We've got Silene at 5. I never
Technically,
smell
I'm in the
Selene's
other room
handwriting.
anyway.
Well, you're all in the same room. It's just different parts of it.
No, I'm in the dark garden.
And then I had Visik, who rolled a 10, so that comes out to 11. And we had these lovely things. I don't even remember how to say the name of these things. I think it's Vargoyle? Yeah, there it is. All right. I had to look it up again because I wasn't actually planning on using them. Okay, they got a 6. So we're going to go with Tara first. And I am sorry for anyone who likes a little bit of mystery. I am not doing a good job at we're removing gameplay from or game mechanics from storytelling right now. I'm just saying all the numbers. But Tara, you're up. Then Visik.
Okay. She is going to. How far can I just sort of jog run my way back after them?
Yeah, you guys you're both at no more than 30 feet against the central area.
Okay. She is gonna run close enough. She's gonna. I thought this would be a surrounding thing, but it's not. I wanted to cast Cloud of Daggers, but I wanted it to be around me.
Oh yeah, that's not how Cloud of Daggers works. Just pick an area and put it there.
Okay. Fine, I'll just magic missile him then. How boring. I won't get very close then. I won't get as close as I was gonna.
Alright.
Although if they try and come at me. Alright, I'll get a bit closer and I'm gonna put it up so it's between me and Berin, so if they do try to go through it, Cloud of Daggers.
Alright. So you're gonna and you're gonna make it 3-dimensional combat. You could put it up higher so that it'll fly through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so your Cloud of Daggers is in the air above Berin and you, so that if they kind of swoop down again, they're coming right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all for your turn?
Let me just check. Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I don't think Visik has any AoE at all. So he is just going to wander over to the door and turn and kind of you see the green of his eyes and his kind of cracked skin flares up a little more as he turns his puzzle box And I am looking at. Okay, there's no way he would deal enough damage to actually kill one of these things. So, yeah, and so the effects of that are like his spell or overtaking one of the Vargoyle, but you can't actually see what's going on with them. So they began to just swoop in random directions. There are 7 of them, so I'm going to roll 74 to see where they go. All right. 1 goes towards Varric, 2 goes go toward Berin, 1 towards Silene, and that is 3 more to go. And so actually 4 go towards Varric, or shots, Berin. So 4 of them are just going to go right through your cloud of daggers. What's the saving throw they need to make?
No, wait, that's not this. Hang on. Sorry. There's no save. They just take it.
Oh, they just take it. Okay,
Yeah.
because it's moving through it. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, yeah, roll your damage. Throw that out there.
Oh, I don't have that many. Wait, I don't have any D4s out. Crap.
Oh no.
Oh no, I do. There it is. I have to roll it 4 times. I wasn't very prepared with dice today. That's 10 points of slashing damage.
All right. So yeah, you just see these things just get lacerated as they're cutting through them. They're going whole hog. They don't give a crap. They're getting just torn apart. Some of their wings are getting cut up. It's not enough to kill any of them, but they're looking really awful by the time they actually make it to Berin. All right, now I got 4 attacks coming your way. Well, 1 of them is a crit, 2 of them are 21s, and 1 of them is a 15.
Everything bar the 15.
All right. 1, 2. That is going to be. Do you need the damage separately, or are you going to be able to take them?
I forgot that I was going to do something, and now I want this is a reaction. This is to interrupt the crit.
Oh, okay, cool. Good call.
I have a thingy. I'm going to tell you about it in a second once I pull it up.
Okay.
I just remembered that I needed to do that. Okay, it is the spell called Silvery Barbs. You magically distract the triggering creature and turn its momentary uncertainty into encouragement for another creature. The triggering creature must re-roll the d20 and use the lower roll.
Ha, that's awesome.
And then a different creature I can see within range has advantage on the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw it makes within 1 minute.
I rolled a crit again.
Well, that's just bullshit.
That's okay, because guess who else has the same ability, and I'm going to use it right now, too. Visik.
Who? Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because I bought that spell and then shared it with everyone?
Probably, because I saw it was like, that's a cool spell. I like that.
It is a cool spell.
So the chosen target gets advantage on the next attack roll, right? So
or ability check or saving throw.
You're giving your advantage to Berin?
Yeah.
I'm going to give mine to Tara. So, Berin, you will be taking 13 points of piercing damage as 3 of these Vargol just like come down on you and start just biting into whatever part of flesh you have. And then I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage.
Ooh. Okay. Well, that's a 23 or a 23, my good sir.
A 23 or a 23. I like it. All right. I need one more after this. So, boom. That is 15 poison damage it was 30 in total, and I halved it because of your save, as their nastiness kind of seeps through.
I'm really starting to think that I can't make a D&D character because apparently I'm super duper squishy.
Oh, to be fair, this is a lot of damage.
Like, super duper squishy. So that does actually knock me to 0 hit points. However, because I'm a half-orc, I have relentless endurance, which means that when I am reduced to 0 but not killed, I drop to 1 HP.
Nice. So yeah, you feel their poison like seeping into you, and you're just like, this isn't gonna get me down. And we have one that went towards Silene. So that errant little dude is gonna come fluttering at you and aim for a 16 versus your AC.
That does not hit.
Okay. And then 2 came towards Visik. And 1 hits, 1 misses. All right. It is Berin's turn.
I do think it is time for some payback. And it will be some payback. So, to start with, I am going to use an action surge. So I get to an additional action on my turn, because yes. And I am going to start hacking and slashing. I'm going to do... Oh. Really need to put Artemisia down at some point, don't I?
Yep. I was wondering what you're going to do there.
So I'm going to very carefully and lovingly throw Artemisia off my shoulder and draw my sword.
There's just a thump as you just roll her off your shoulder.
Woomph. Right. I've been waiting for this one, guys.
She just goes, fuck her.
Ow. Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, you're awake. You could have helped yourself there. And I'm just going to take a delight. Would that count as an action?
No, to drop an object is a free action. If you were trying to set her down carefully, it would have been an action.
Okay, yeah, that one's my bad. Sorry, Artemisia. And I'm just going to go for it with my longsword to the first thingy-mabobber for a 19 to hit.
19 hits.
Absolutely beautiful. It's being used one-handed. Oh, I do love this. That's 12.
12 damage. Yeah, you just you just hack and slash. Like that one is already looking. It's like clung to you, but you're able to just like stab through it and get it off, no problem. But yeah, a lot of them are looking really well lacerated by the cloud of daggers that Tara cast.
Well, it's funny that you should say that, because, you know, being as awesome as I am, I'm going to use my sweeping attack maneuver. And I've got 3 superiority dice to use, which means that for each superiority die, I can deal damage to another creature within 5 feet of me.
Oh.
And
So you're just doing like a big arc and getting all
just
4
doing
of them.
a big arc. The only issue is that it is equal to the superiority die, which is only a d4, but that's still better than nothing. So let's give this a roll. It could be worse. I've got a 4, a 3, and a 2.
Is that the damage rolls?
Those are the damage rolls. It automatically hits.
Okay. Your arc just goes through all 4 of them, and you've just dropped all of them. So you just you hit that first one, and you keep going at that momentum, and you just you guys don't make me drop to 0 hit points.
How many of them are still left standing?
There is 1 that is harassing Silene and 2 that are harassing Visik. So that is a total of 3.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is move up to the one attacking Silene, obviously, and I'm going to give it a good whack with my longsword, because 2 attacks, guys. Or 2 actions, I should say. That's nice. 23 to hit. And that's a 7 for damage.
All right. That one took damage earlier. And it took 4 damage earlier, so that one is also dead. Yeah. You just
And I
come
think-
up, skewer it through the face as it's like fluttering at Silene.
At that point, I think Berin's just gonna like skewer it and then just kind of look Silene straight in the eye and just give her a little nod. It's like, yep, I am good for something other than carrying bags.
It's
All
Celine's
right.
turn then, right?
It is in fact Celine's turn, and the only ones are the 2 that are harassing Visik. One, he's kind of able to bat away, and the other one is like you can see that it's latched on and its teeth are just digging into his neck.
Well, that is unfortunate. But what she instead does is looks up at Berin and nods back and says, "You look like shit," and then puts her hand on him and cures wounds. For 13.
You really aren't being nice to Visik. You're like, you know what? He's in trouble, but you could be healed.
I'm just saying that she probably didn't even notice Visik at this point.
That's fair.
So that's it. And then
That's
I
true.
presume she's going to move. She'll maybe move closer to where Visik is, just in case.
Okay. And Visik, to clarify, is like right next to the kitchen door. Tara, it's your turn.
Okay, so it's just the 2 left with Visik.
Mhm.
I am gonna cast Magic Missile. I'll do 2 to whichever one looks like it's doing the best, and then 1 to the one that looks closest to death, if there is any difference between them.
No, these 2 look fresh and happy as can be. The one that's gnawing on Visik's neck looks even happier because, it's eating.
Then you pick. I don't mind which one goes where.
I pick the ones that are on Visik.
So that would be... Oh, okay, it's one for each one, isn't it? So the one that hits only one of them is 3 force damage, so not very much really, but...
And they're D4, so I got it. All right, so 3, got it.
And then the one that has 2 go for it is 5 force damage total.
Okay.
Magic missiles.
3 and 5. All right, are you gonna do anything else?
No, I can't move the cloud, can
I don't think so. I was just thinking that. I'm pretty sure it's stationary. All right. Well, then Visik is gonna go and try to deal with this problem. Visik kind of rears his head back, and by now he's pushed the Vargul that's on his neck off, and then opens his mouth, and acid just spews in a arc from his mouth. He's breath weaponing these guys. They both fail and just take straight to the face. This just vomit of caustic acid, pretty much, and yeah, that just blasts all over them, and they just their faces and hair and bat wings just melt away, and then they fall to the ground. They're just like remnants of bone and muck. And then Visik turns to you guys, just blood running down his chest from his neck wound. He looks really bad off, and he says, "Well, that could have been worse, probably."
Yeah, if he looks really bad off, then Celine's next move will be to go ahead and go up to him and put a hand on his arm and do another cure wounds.
All right, how much do you cure for?
At the 2nd level, ooh, even better. Oh no, it's roughly the same. 12.
All right, yeah, you put your. No, I did damage, not curing. You put your hand
Don't do that.
on his neck, and you could feel the flesh start to contort and twist and knit itself together under your hands. And
Okay.
let's see. +9. Okay. I had to think about. There we go. All right. So now that Visik is healed and the rest of these bad things are dead, what are you guys gonna do?
Has there been any noticeable change on the other side of the door? Well, I guess Silene will go up and listen to the door on the other side of the door.
Yeah, no, you can still hear the sounds of cooking. You can still hear the sounds of voices. You can very clearly hear the sounds of somebody saying, over and over again, calling the cook staff peasants and telling him to, get fucking good. And they need to stop fucking up. This is his fucking kitchen. And yeah.
And when you say over and over, you just mean like this is a common refrain, not that it's on a loop.
Right. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay. The door itself, is it pretty like hefty? Is the latch pretty solid? Like, would it make an audible click if one tried to just gently open it and poke an eyeball?
You could attempt to open it fairly quietly.
Okay. Then I think Silene will attempt to do that.
All right.
What am I rolling?
That would be stealth.
Stealthy. I'm gonna go ahead and guidify myself while I'm at it.
Okay.
So stealth. Well, that was a sad roll, but I have an additional thing that I can do. So hang on just a second. Okay, that is. And I keep forgetting I have this bard thing that I can do. I'm still not used to all of them. I am going to do my knowledge from a past life special. Oh no, that's not a spoiler or anything. Don't worry. Where you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can roll a d6 immediately after seeing the number and add the d6, which was a 6. So that actually puts me at a very nice 17.
All right. Do you want to give us some insight into the knowledge that helps this particular moment?
I'm gonna say that she is surprised by this knowledge. It comes out of somewhere that it comes out of nowhere, essentially. This like ability to, I don't know, just like, oh no, it's probably going to be a little bit louder. Let's just, something like this. And it's almost like someone is telling her this, but it's not the same as when she was like actively talking to Matthias. It's like it's coming from inside her own mind. She's not seeing any visuals. It's just sort of a whisper of, no, do it this way sort of thing. And it's alarming.
Okay. So you surprise yourself at your ability to open this door, and you open it and get it open about a crack enough to see beyond. And so you look inside and you see this bustling, busy kitchen. There's a massive fireplace on one of the walls just roaring with several like pots over it. There's a whole middle section with like stoves and like metal burners. It's actually a fairly modern, from like our perspective, not from your player character's perspective, or player perspective or character perspective. Fucking words, Jesus. Kitchen with like a lot of things that are high-end technologies, but yeah, there's just probably about 10 chefs going about cutting up vegetables, slicing up fish and cutting through like slabs of meat that may or may not have once been human. Boiling, cooking, frying. There is a chef, wearing this white outfit. He's the only one that doesn't seem to have any like stains on his clothes. He's got sandy blonde hair. He is in fact a human, and he is the one like kind of going through and checking things. He's the one screaming and yelling, calling his other cooks donkeys, stuff like that. Yeah, you're just kind of like seeing this uncharacteristically living kitchen, despite what you've been wandering through. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
All right, sure. Oh, that's better than usual. Okay, let's see here. Where is it? There it is. 21.
All right. And as you're looking at this scene, the light of the fire begins to dim, and as it fades, the chefs that are walking through the kitchen and prepping food and cooking entrees start to dissipate until they are nothing more than motes of moving ash. Still in humanoid form, they're still engaging in activity, but they're very clearly just made of swirling, contorting ash. Whatever it is they were prepping is either not in front of them, is decayed beyond recognition. Pots are stained and unused. The burners beneath them are no longer producing flame. Yeah, the kitchen pretty much dims to an almost darkness. You can barely make out, and you can just again barely see these forms that are spectral at this point.
Okay. Silently, she will lean away from the door and beckon Tara over. And just if Tara gets there, she'll whisper, "It may be an illusion, it may be something else. Are you able to tell?"
Tara does, of course, come over, and then we'll have a look through.
Are you?
So we will move over slightly so that, move over enough that Tara can look through, but like not all the way away.
Are you bringing your light source with you?
For now, she'll extinguish it. I mean, it's just a cantrip, so she can just turn it off and on again. So she'll turn it off for now and not on it. Like after the last time she disturbed something in the darkness with it, she'll turn it off for this, just to see.
Yeah. So you kind of look through, and your visibility is really not great. And you can again see kind of what Silene is seeing, and you do see these ethereal smoke or like ash formed beings. But yeah, it is. You don't see the whole kitchen scene that Silene saw. You just see the dark kitchen with these shadowy figures moving about.
Yeah, she whispers back. The shadowy figures.
Yeah, Celine will like kind of step back from the door and keep her voice down a little bit and say, "A moment ago, it looked like a full-on kitchen scene with the chefs, with a head chef and like actual living beings doing this, and then a moment later, it looked like this."
I mean, bearing in mind that everything up in the ballroom was apparently somehow an illusion, it wouldn't surprise me if there's more of it down here. Not too fond of the idea of having to walk through shadow creatures, though.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe you might have had some experience with something like this before.
I know a little about shadows. I've crossed paths with some, like, in my time in the army. I mean, light source, we could try light the room up, it might make them disappear. Also might make them angry. I don't know. Could go either way.
Okay. Right. She Celine will just take one more glance into the room. You said there's no light source in there.
Right.
Okay. There's nothing in that she would recognize from her. Like, she's studied magic, just a different branch of magic than like.
What do you mean there's nothing in there she'd recognize?
Like, just does it look like it might be some kind of illusion spell that like she has somehow seen through to the other side of, or
All right, I can give you a bit of an insight on that, but I'm going to need you to roll an Arcana.
Okay, so I'm going to keep that die and get rid of the other ones. That would be a dirty 20.
Okay. No, this feels a lot more linked to the sorts of things you were learning how to connect with in Bardic College, specifically with your connection to spirits and whatnot.
Okay, so these are more like either some sort of memories or even just like actual spirits.
Right. Something more akin to that.
Interesting. Okay. So she'll step back again and still standing quite close to Tara, say, I, on a second look, I think it may actually be something related to spirits. I suppose we could just try to proceed through them. In my experience so far of spirits have been benign.
Well, I mean, I feel like we have nowhere else to go, so... Where's Berin? Berin in this, like...
Where's Berin? He just wandered off.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like still in that main room, just like, nah.
I think it's one
Doesn't seem
room.
to be
I
any
think
other way out here.
Yeah, we're all
I'm
in one
like,
room.
just in the center, just like, no, can't really see anything.
Tara will catch his eye and do like a sort of gesture, like...
Okay. It's that kind of thing where in role-playing games, like you're in full plate armor and try to sneak. You're just like, chink, 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 chink. What up? What's happening, guys? Can we go? Are they coming for us?
Well, it seems like on the other side of this door there is some sort of scene that either involves shadow creatures or spirits. We're not 100%. Our current theory is to just hope for the best and walk on through.
Oh, okay. That sounds very bad. We have no control over that situation. We need something that puts the control in our favor. Is there nothing we can do? You've got magic things.
Well,
Don't you have...
I suppose I do have. I could cast detect magic. Forget it's a thing. I don't. Would that wouldn't show me though if it's what the creatures are though.
No, yeah, it doesn't show creatures, it shows magic effects.
Yeah, so without, other than it could maybe show us it's an illusion, I don't think it's worth it. We could throw something in there and see if suddenly all of their attention is on it. I could throw a cast bonfire into there.
Just like, hey, let's... Just like... Okay, right, guys. We're grasping at straws here, and I'm not going to lie. I feel like we're so close to getting out of here with our lives intact. If Silene still manages to get it out of here in one piece. So let me have a... Just give me a second, okay? I have a... I might be able to shed some light on the situation, or the exact opposite. And Baron's gonna kind of go up to the door and kind of like put his ear against the wall, be like, yeah, okay, so there's definitely things, there's still things going on there. It's just gonna kind of talk really quietly to himself. Right. You're a fool. Go. We need to figure out what's happening. What the hell is going on? And Berin's just gonna kind of hunker down, just touch the door, and if you're looking incredibly closely, the Baron's shadow Baron's shadow starts to distort ever so slightly, and then slip underneath the door. What
Okay.
would my shadow potentially be seeing?
Your shadow moves under the door. Can you see through its senses? Is that what we're kind of discussing? Almost like a find familiar spell?
Kind of, yeah.
And it like kind of creeps along, and you can see these figures, like from its perspective, it's almost as though there's a light burning at the center of them, and then the ash around them is flowing off them like particles of smoke. And as they move around and they do their thing, those of you that aren't Baron first hear the cluttering as like a pan is knocked off of the shelf, clutters to the ground. And then there is a screeching noise, and then there is the sound of like commotion. There's more clattering of cookingware. There's a sound of like the pots and pans that hang off the ceiling when they all get smacked and start to like bong against each other, and all of these noises just erupt from the kitchen for probably about a minute, and the kitchen goes dark. In that time, what you see, Baron, is your shadow creeping closest to the moving ghost. It lurches out and it grabs the ember inside and crushes it, bringing all of the smoke and ash into itself. And then it begins to just lurch about the room, overcoming and absorbing each and every one of these spirits.
Okay.
And then
Hey guys, I think I made a boo-boo.
Maybe don't tell Silene.
your shadow comes through the bottom of the door and reconnects with your feet and begins to just move up the doorway again like a normal shadow would. And you hear its voice in your head. Thank you, Baron. Didn't think we would get to this point.
Oh dear.
May I remind my right honourable gentleman that the idea was to go in and relay the information, as opposed to go in and consume things?
You had a problem? I just thought I would take care of it.
Okay. You're right. I didn't think we would get to this point. Remember your place. I'm stuck with you, and you're stuck with me. But without me, you're nothing.
I would never think of crossing you. I am at your heel at all times.
Enough with the sarcasm. And Baron's just gonna kind of get back, fully extend himself, kind of release the tension out of his muscles. It's okay. I think we were just... I think it might have been some form of illusion. There's nothing there anymore. let's go. And Berin's going to open the door confidently, but also slightly on the back foot. Just open the door. He's really putting this on for everyone else. Just like, yeah, this is totally fine. And kind of head through the door.
All right.
Silene will be very confused. She will go over to Artemisia and see how she is and if she's able to walk on her own.
You go over to Artemisia and like she'll accept a hand back to her feet and smile at you and say, "I'm feeling much better now, actually. Thank you."
She still got like a swollen thing in her chest.
She does, but it doesn't look like the infection is spread nearly as far or as bad as it was.
Okay. Okay, then Silene will sort of nod, and she's at this point she'll follow behind like whoever is going through the door, but like she's not really paying attention to what's going on. She's kind of doing it absently.
Okay.
As she's like churning stuff over inside her mind.
I know Visik would have like followed right after Berin.
Yeah, I mean, Tara will just follow as well. She's not
Okay.
carrying the dog anymore. But
Yeah.
presumably.
Spectre's bounding at your heel. So you're the last one to leave the pantry and enter the kitchen then, Silene?
Sure, yeah. She kind of trails behind.
As you come in and look around, you see that there is no sign at all of the spirits that were in there before. There is a little more clutter, but there's just a little bit more, only because like you didn't see as many pots and pans and things on the ground as there is now. But yeah, you all stand inside this dark kitchen. Like I said, there's one wall with a massive cooking fire, several smaller ovens, and a lot of prep area and cutting areas. But there's also a bunch of doors that lead out of this room. They're all closed. There's at least 6 of them. One of them being the door behind you into the pantry. What would you all like to do?
I have a weird knowledge check that I would like to make.
Okay.
I don't know if you would knowledge noble. Basically,
Okay. Something from your noble background. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, basically, it's just kind of an idea of what the doors would most likely be without having to open them, based on knowledge of how a large manor house is run.
Well, okay, roll it first. Sorry. I was going to start answering questions and was like, wait, this requires a roll because that's what you were asking for.
Yeah, what am I rolling though? History
Roll me history. Yeah, history would be great.
Okay.
And if you're not trained in it, you can roll it as though you were.
Oh, I'm very trained. Also, why was that a natural 20? I don't know. Apparently, I know a lot about kitchen doors.
Yeah, so places like this are designed so that the serving staff is seen as minimally as possible. Oftentimes, these doors would lead to side chamber or side corridors that wouldn't be accessible by non-servant staff. That would lead to servants' quarters, and maybe sometimes lead directly to the rooms of the noble houses. Almost always, these lead to some sort of secret entrance into a study, into a bedroom, or whatever. Again, to avoid the servant staff being seen as much as possible. Almost definitely one of these doors would lead to a prep room that would then lead into the dining room. So yeah, that's quite a few different locations that is feasible to come from here. That being said, this is a very strange house.
Yeah.
And I will point out one thing you will have observed as a notable difference to any other house that you've ever seen any other manner you've ever seen, is this one relies heavily on mechanisms that do change the structure of rooms.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there, I guess the first thing would be, is there a door that would be likely to lead like into a kitchen, an outdoor kitchen garden rather than like an indoor dark kitchen garden?
Usually that thing would exist, but you also are very likely still underground.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so she'll look around at all of the doors. So probably, and she'll also kind of just quietly relay this information to the rest of the group. That, you know, typically several or many of these doors are going to lead around like back ways through a house, so that servants can go about their business without being seen, essentially. And it's possible that that might be our best way forward, because they're probably, question mark, less likely to be trapped or to attract the attention of whoever the occupant of this house is, if it is in fact not the monarch. And one of these should potentially lead to somewhere that would eventually get us out of doors. But there doesn't appear to be one to just the outside. And then I guess she, as she's relaying this, she will look around for doors that look like they are probably back stairways that would lead to other rooms in the house.
All the doors look the same, but the likelihood would be that the door opposite the pantry is probably the one that would lead towards the dining room. Just for symmetry's sake.
And with her knowledge of the structure of houses, even, you know, obviously keeping in mind this is a weird one and it's going to be weird, and everything you think it is probably not what it's going to be. Does the dining room seem like it would be like a logical place for them to go next in their quest to actually get out of the house, or would it be more like going further into the house?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for it.
Okay.
Eventually
one room leads to another, and you know, you get somewhere. But
yeah, that's a good. I don't know that. I think my lack of answer is probably about as much as Silene would be able to put together, which is just, it's a weird house and it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the knowledge that I'm relaying. Does anyone else have any input?
Visik just looks at you all and says, "Stairs go up. There's that."
As
we are
insightful
underground
as always.
still.
Then the only thing we can do is go up.
Okay. Silene will attempt to... Actually, first she'll check the door because, you know, who knows? Maybe someone will just trap a servant's entrance for funsies. Check no, assuming the dining room would be up above.
There's the image of someone just setting up a trap for this. It's like, I know my servants need to use this corridor. Brink. Oh, nope, they just got shot with darts because I'm sadistic.
I mean...
That is the kind of house I would design.
I was going to say, the evidence doesn't not point to that kind of situation in this house.
That's fair.
So yes, checking. Hang on, that is a 24.
There's no evidence that any of these doors are trapped, and likewise, no logical evidence that any of them should be trapped.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So she will open, also, like, still like trying to be quiet, open the door that she thinks is most likely to lead upwards.
Wait, which door is she checking? The one that she thinks
I
is
guess
most...
the dining room door first, and then if it doesn't have stairs leading up, then she'll keep checking until she finds one that does.
All right. And when you say checking, you mean opening and looking inside. Yeah. Right? That's
yes. Okay. Yeah, quietly opening.
Making sure we're
Mhm.
past the point of crawling on our hands and knees looking for traps.
Inch by inch.
You open
No.
the door, and sure enough, it skips the prep room and goes right into the dining room. It is, however, much smaller than a normal dining room would be. It's big enough for a large dining room table in the middle. It has some rolling trays and other like alcohol cabinets in the sides of the room, but it's otherwise pretty much non-furnished. But there are like posts and like wires and gear rope and levy contraptions on these posts that are at the corners of the dining room table, like some feet away. Yeah, and it's just like there's a big table. It's set with all the furnishings of a nice dining room table, but there's no food set on it right now.
Okay. And are there additional doors leading out of it elsewhere? I presume.
There are, in fact, yep, there are doors in right, left directions, not one straight ahead from the door you're in now.
Okay. And I'm assuming it's dim and not like super easy to.
Yeah, the only light you see is coming from. I'm assuming Tara relit her wand. Did I make that assumption correct?
I mean,
Hmm.
well, not initially. Only when she know that it was like clear of anything in the next room, I think. But if there's no one in there,
Dog's
Okay.
barking.
then she can.
Okay. Yeah. Without the light, it's all dark. And I
Okay.
believe that. Do any of you have dark vision aside from Berin?
Does Baron? I don't think
No.
Baron does. No one has it. I think only
No,
Visik.
Baron doesn't have dark vision.
No, I miss when everyone had dark vision. Last game.
Of course. Why would we all have dark vision in the dark island?
I'll light
I
my
know, right?
light. I'll light my wand. It's fine.
Sorry,
Okay.
that was
And then again, like,
absolute dog barky situation.
gotcha. Silene will once again like kind of shift to the side to allow Tara to bring her light forward.
Okay.
Without moving too far away.
And you need the light just to get a better look at the room, see if there's anything inside there.
Yeah.
So
That would be just like kind of retconning to say that.
Yeah. I would say not retconning, just clarifying the situation. Because I'm the kind of DM that doesn't punish people for every single little misspeak that they have. I'm the kind of DM that punishes people because I have terrible stories to tell.
Thanks,
you're,
Beza.
You're welcome. The room, the light doesn't really reveal anything that is of note, aside from getting a better look at the dining room area. What you can see is that the dining room table is set on a platform. Looks like a floor. It's got like a nice carpeting over it, but that platform could be raised up off the ground. Like it's very clearly not the floor.
Okay, so I think there's a lot of evidence that there are lots of mechanisms in this room that would potentially do something. I don't know if obviously the light is probably not great, but I think I might want to do another roll just to see if there's anything that obviously looks trappy.
Okay.
Would that be a perception or an
do you tell me, do you want to just look around or do you want to investigate?
I think maybe she'll like kind of crouch down and look at the floor a little bit closer without necessarily like stepping over, but like look and see if there are any other obvious places, not just under the table, but like obvious joins in the ground that look pressure platey, etc.
Gotcha.
So I guess in that case, it might be kind of investigation because it's more up close.
Yeah, I'll give it to you as an investigation. Is it like you are doing a little more maneuvering to look around? You're still keeping your hands off, but you're
okay.
Investigating with your eyeballs.
With my eyeballs, not to be confused with the eyeballs that were in the other room or in the pizza.
You could also, there was plenty of hands you could have found earlier if you really wanted to get hands on with this investigation.
Okay. That's a 23.
Okay. So as you like look around, looking at the platform, looking at the contraptions, you'll take a glance at the ceiling. It's very clear that this room is set up to raise the dining room table up above to the rooms above, which kind of gives you the bit of an idea that this is that prep room that we said was missing, and the dining room is actually on the floor above. And like you are looking at the Citrus setup, you can see a very clear lever attached to one of the posts, likely the thing that will get the mechanism going. From your look, it seems like everything is fine and well. It's a little bit dusty, but it seems like it would function properly. And as you're kind of moving around, keeping an eye out, like looking at the situation without touching, because you don't want to trigger anything, you hear a sound from the kitchen, the sound of a door slamming open. Berin and Visik are the only two in the kitchen currently. Oh, well, I guess Artemisia is in there as well. But I like the idea of Tara at the door. She's got the light. There's Silene looking around. There's Artemisia like at the door, kind of like poking her head in, looking in the room as well. And then this door slams open. Berin and Visik's eyes are drawn to it immediately. And standing in the doorway is a white Dragonborn, holding a big sword in one hand. He's got the shackles that kind of like end in magical shimmering energy, and he kind of like looked like he just threw the door open and wasn't paying attention to where it was at, so he kind of like does the menacing look up, sets his eyes on Visik and says, so I found you at last, and begins to take a step into the room while dragging his sword along the frame of the door. What are you all gonna do? Also, you guys can look like Tara and Silene.
Yeah, time to look, I guess. I think
like I'm assuming it's just like, oh, I heard this and I looked. Berin is the first to see it.
I think the first thing Berin's going to do is kind of step in front of Visik, kind of push him behind, shield out. Then he's going to remember about his special torchy sword thing. And he is going to kind of remember what Borstad did, like applying some form of liquid onto this blade to make it ignite. And the only liquid he has is Borstad's blood. It's going to kind of pick it up and kind of go like, blub, 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 whoa! And hope that it somehow ignites like a lightsaber.
So Visik was holding on to the vials of blood, and as like I guess you two would have had the same idea at the same time. You kind of like reach a hand toward Visik, and you feel a vial put into your hand. Pop the cork, you pour the blood down the blade, and as you do, the blade ignites in flame.
And Berin's going to say, "Not today. Guys, I need some backup."
The Dragonborn looks at you kind of lazily and says, I already killed one who held that sword. I don't think it'll be very difficult to kill another.
Guys, I could really use that backup.
Where Tara turns, starts clattering back down the stairs again. Oh, were the stairs? I don't know why I think the stairs. Anyway.
No, there weren't stairs. Not from the kitchen to the dining room or the prep room. No.
Well,
Silene doesn't have combat spells,
Silene stays and investigates the room.
so hang tight.
let them deal with it.
I mean, the last time you encountered this person, they almost effortlessly killed Borstad, and Visik tore down a doorway in order to put distance between you and it.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what I'm gonna do. Can I run
Inspire
down
proper
and do
fear.
something? Like do a spell?
Yeah, you're not far. Like the kitchen is probably about I would say at the most 40 feet long. He came in one of the side doors. You guys are at the far door. Berin and Visik are likely just kind of mulling in the middle. Like you're only probably 20 feet away from this Dragonborn.
Okay. Well, if I'm only about 20 feet away, then I am going to turn and cast Rhyme's Binding Ice and attempt to freeze him in place for 1 minute while we make our escape. Because he can't even pull himself out. Someone else has to pull him out. So.
Oh, really? Like he can't fight his way out or anything?
No, it says.
Wow.
It says they're hindered by formations for 1 minute or until another creature within reach of it uses an action to break away the ice. A creature hindered by the ice has speed reduced to 0.
Wow.
But if they're saved, they're not hindered and they take half as much damage.
That's a pretty fucking cool spell. The fact you're just like, nope, you stopped for a minute. Okay, what's the DC?
It is a Constitution saving throw of 15.
Okay, I need to pull up stat block. Constitution 15. I need to pull up dice block. I put all my dice away during the break. Well, your ice begins to build up along his feet. And he just starts to step, breaking right through it, stepping into the room slowly. I rolled a 16.
God damn. Well, it still takes half the damage, so.
Yeah, so roll that damage out. Also, probably roll initiative, since we'll probably need to move in that kind of.
So when one rolls a natural 1 on initiative, is that also something that I have to do
Not
the
usually.
table for?
It's
Not important.
It's not
Okay.
a skill.
It's just sad.
Was it a skill check or was it an ability check? Which did it say on the
Oh, you mean for your thing?
for the gift? Yeah.
I thought you just meant in general.
Because
Trying to
if
look
it's
it
an
up.
ability check, initiative does do it. If it's a skill check, initiative wouldn't. You can look
It
that
is
up.
attack roll, ability check, and saving throw.
So yes, roll on that.
It was a 9 damage, by the way.
9 damage. Thank you. Cold damage,
Yes.
and you already halved it.
I didn't have it. No. Why would I
Oh, okay.
to have things?
I was like,
No,
9
it's-
seems like a low amount of damage.
Yeah, it's 3d8 and I rolled not great rolls.
Oh, and you rolled not so great. Well.
So
It'll happen.
I rolled the one good thing on the table,
Yeah.
where my memory is flooded by 1 of triumph. I can re-roll an ability check, attack roll, saving throw, and use the new roll.
Nice.
So I guess I'm gonna do that. Not that it really matters if I go last. I just didn't want anything bad to happen to me. Oh, well, that's marginally better.
Guess who also rolled a
Uh,
1 on their initiative check?
I hope it's the Dragonborn.
Nope, it was Visik.
Just like, goddamn.
No, I gotta look up these rules.
Okay. Well, I have an 11.
All right.
And
11
apparently
initiative.
triumphant memory, so I have to figure out what that is.
Yeah, I
Or maybe
want to
you
hear
can tell
what
me what that
triumphant
is.
memory. I don't make up your memories. What triumphant memory
Okay.
got you to be like, you know what? I was feeling lethargic and didn't really want to go in this combat. Then I remembered something great.
I'll think about it while you roll or do your thing.
All right. I would like Berin and Selene's Berin and Tara's initiative. Berin, you
I
muted.
was a delightful 6.
21.
21. Looks like
Okay,
Tara's
plus
going to be
6.
going again. Jesus.
I can add my intelligence mark to it.
I was going to ask, do you have some way of adding your intelligence? Balls, what did I?
War. I think it's the part of the war.
That's the one.
War fighter, whatever it is.
All right, I've got a memory.
Okay,
So this just flashes across her mind is this this memory of riding horseback, just galloping through fields as part of a hunt and seeing this like obstacle ahead, like a really high hedge, and other people going around it on either side, and then just being like, no, I can do this, and then just charging forward full tilt and just clearing it with like perfect ease and going on the other side and everyone and just being like, yeah, and everyone cheering.
Nice. So like that's enough for you to be like, all right, I need speed, and then you get more initiative and you're like carrying on.
I can do it.
Yeah. I wish that I could say that Visik did as well as you did in the reroll in the roll for his what awful thing happens department. They did not. They did not at all. I'm excited for what they're going to do on their turn, though.
Oh no.
It is Tara's turn
Oh,
as this white dragonborn begins to step into the room.
this guy. Okay, so since you said that did I half the damage, implying that what?
You said when he succeeds the saving throw, he still takes half the damage from his spell.
I understand. No, okay. I didn't half it. You were right to
Okay.
ask me, but I was like, I read that as he has resistances, but that's not why. It's because
Oh, yeah.
although
No. He could have resistances, but there was no sign that he did.
okay. Let's try it again. Spam all of my spells on him.
Mm-hmm. There's a time to spam spells.
Yeah, I might try it again. Okay, give me a con save. And
Constitution saving throw.
15.
Nope, I rolled a 17.
Fuck.
Yeah, this isn't even like the bonuses. I'm just rolling high. Are you kidding
that
me?
was
Are
better.
there?
19 total on that one, so half 19.
Nice, good roll.
But she will also swear as he presumably just steps again through the.
Just
through
keeps
the ice.
walking through the ice. He's not even responding like it
Goddamn.
exists. He's just walking on by.
She will say, let's not get into this, let's just go. We can outrun him. She thinks that's what she says.
All right, and then are you going to go anywhere? Like, are you going to move at all, or just?
She'll go back. Yeah, so she moved a little bit to try and do that spell, but she's gonna now like go back and try and get into the other room.
Into the dining room prep room.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. My turn for the bad guy. But Silene, you're on deck. There we go. He steps into the room and raises his arms up and just screams. And as he does, just bursts of energy radiate from his mouth toward Visik and Berin. They both need to make intelligence saving throws. These are the people that fucking roll those, right? Apparently, Visik is the person to roll this because I rolled a 19.
So that was a 1.
Okay.
That was a 1.
Did we decide if the gift thing has anything to do with saving throws?
Oh, the gift thing does have saving throw.
Because it's an ability check, I think.
Oh gosh. See, I'm the only one that doesn't have a table of things that happen. The next time you
Asa gets to control the shadow right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you have fun with that.
Now I gotta look at what I can do.
Oh, good. We just created work for Asa. I like that.
I don't like it. Especially when I'm already supposed to be going. Okay, so I gotta roll the damage roll and hopefully not kill you again. How often do you get to do your I don't die, I just not die?
Once, isn't it?
At once.
Okay.
I get to do it once. Yeah.
You get to do it one time.
Then I need to long rest. I need to, get my beauty sleep. And
Well,
then
that
I
is-
can almost die again.
That is 9 psychic damage, as your brain hurts a lot.
What's new?
And when you make an attack roll and or ability check, you must roll a d6 and reduce your total by that much. That'll only last till the end of your next turn. And then he draws that sword up and charges right for Visik. He's able to make it, right into melee range with Berin, but he's not going to be able to make an attack because the shout was his action. So that would then make it Selene's turn.
Okay. I don't have any combat stuff. And she is still at the doorway. So she is going to cry out to Berin, disengage and get in here, and give him some sort of ability enhancement, which I don't know which one would be best. What do you have to usually roll for disengaging it or for
Disengage is just an action.
Yeah.
it's just an action. Okay. Because I could give you strength or dexterity advantage, or I could give you temporary hit points and constitution advantage. I'm not really sure which seems like the most likely thing that you would need. So I think maybe dexterity.
I think Dex would be the best way forward.
Okay, so I bestow Cat's Grace upon you. It is a concentration spell, so eventually it could go away, but it could last up to an hour.
Does that mean I get whiskers?
If you want. No, it
And
doesn't.
claws. You also then have the effect to your melee attacks, Cat Scratch Fever.
And you make Maria noises.
Happy days.
And then she is going to back into the room.
All right.
Still facing through the doorway, though.
Berin, you're up.
Not that I take orders from anyone, but I am going to disengage and run as fast as I can. What? Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to disengage. Not that I am engaged. Am I? Am I engaged?
You're
No,
married,
because-
man. You're married. No, you actually you're engaged. He
trying to
he
play
made
by
it
the
right up
door.
to you, and you stood in the way of him and Visik. So
Yeah. So I'm going to disengage and then sort of spin round and try and like Visik, come on, and run towards where Silene was pointing to.
all right. That was your action and your move. Okay, so Visik is going to. He is like looking up, and you can see this Dragonborn stands like a head taller than Visik, and Visik being, all about as tall as Berin, easily taller than Tara, and Silene is like looking up at him. And Visik's not one for emotion. He's more just too awkwardly whatever, but you just see this look overcome his face that can only be described as absolute horror. He is like got his little puzzle box in one hand, and he's like looking as though he was about ready to adjust it some more. And then he just turns on his heel and runs, looking it right towards Berin, like right towards the dining room prep room. He makes it into the room, like pretty much scuttles up onto the dining room table and like turns around and is holding out that puzzle box. And it is Tara's turn.
Okay. Who's made it into the room?
I think we all have at this
Um,
point.
Right.
Well, it's hard to meet you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't even roll her into the combat, but yeah,
And
she
she was
walked
like
into the
at
room.
the doorway, so yeah.
Yeah, she would have ducked into the room. Selene, you see her like make her way in there pretty much about the same time you do.
Okay. What Tara's going to do is then shout to the rest of the group, find something to bar this door with, and I'm going to use my action to once again cast Cloud of Daggers on the other side of the door, directly in front of the door, so that if he tries to break the door down, he's stood in Dagger Cloud. And then slam the door shut, and then hope somebody else uses their actions to try and drag the table over or something, or something to bar it. But it's gonna be his go next, right? So there's not a lot of
Yeah, he goes right after you.
have any time. But as she kind of like slams the door shut, she there's a moment where she sort of leans against it, like, you know, where like your arms are fully like locked and outstretched, but her head is low and she's like trying to breathe, and like her fingers kind of claw a little at the door, you know, like she's just trying to deal with something, which, you know, the rest of the group don't know, but we know that you know, her panic and the her fight or flight reaction, the fight side of things results in something. So yeah, she has to take a minute, but she will stand and hold the door. Not that she's probably strong enough to stop him getting through, but whatever.
Sometimes she's strong enough.
So yeah, maybe things will happen.
Shattering a mirror in one go.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see.
All right. So yeah, you can hear the whirling blades that you've cast on the other side, and the sound of the footsteps coming closer. Every once in a while, you'll hear like metal ting against metal as he like as you know, even though you can't see it, I'm gonna explain what he's doing. He's taking his sword, he's like banging it against the stovetops as he's walking toward the door. And then you start to hear the blades like ting 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 as they're like slamming against his sword. But you don't hear him make any visceral response to if he is undergoing any pain from the blades. But roll your damage and tell me what that is.
I apologize. It's many d4s and I only have one out.
Yeah, it's okay. While you're rolling d4s, why don't we go ahead and have Selene and Berin start to do their turns?
I literally said the damage as you started saying that.
Oh, sorry.
16
16. Okay.
slashing damage. Yeah.
Slashing damage. You are actually the only person to put damage on this guy.
Yeah.
You began to hear the his sword just slamming into the door, wood like splinters next to where you're holding it up, but he is just like beginning to hack his way at the door. Yeah, his first hit just like shatters through the door. His blade just sticks through just a few inches from your head. Think the scene from The Shining where Jack Torrance is hacking the door up with the axe. Yeah, he just is going at that door. So it's Celine's turn. What are you gonna do?
Right. So again, basically everything she has is it's like buffs and enhances and She doesn't even have any area of effect stuff really. But if let's see, she could give Tara advantage on strength checks at the moment, since that's where she is right now. Or she could just run over and like, I don't know, because maybe she'll just say everyone get onto the table and then run over and grab the lever and then try and jump onto the table if it starts to move.
All right.
But maybe no, she'll hold the action for grabbing the lever until everyone's on the table.
Okay, so you're going to get up there, you're going to grab the lever, and you're going to hold your action to pull that lever when everyone is on the table.
Yep.
Cool. So then we get to Berin. You're up.
So once Baron's coming through the door, Tara screaming, "Yeah, okay, we need to get this thing closed." Berin is literally just going to start trying to push as many items as he possibly can against this door to bar it. But first he is going to extinguish his blade because fire risk.
I'm going to play fast and loose with what's here so you can kind of decide what it is you want to have like used. I know I said there was like some things in there already, but you can come up with more if you'd like.
Yeah, so it's the table's definitely going to make its way towards the door. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of like maybe little shelves, nothing too big. He's just going to get that and just start piling on. It's like, okay.
I've got an idea. Give me a athletics roll, because I'm just going to go ahead and give this you're going to get behind that table on the platform. You're just going to shove it. And that, because that's a big table.
Well, that was depressing. That was depressing, but it's a 12.
Okay. You get behind it and you start to move the table. It's heavier than you thought it would be. Visik is standing on it, so that might be why. On his turn, he jumps down and starts to help you. And that was also depressing, as a not very strength-based character rolled a 3.
Oh yeah.
So that's a 4 because of So he's not doing much, but he's trying, and you're able to you're moving this table all by yourself. The silverware and stuff on it is beginning to clatter and fall. Visik stops helping you once you move the table off of the platform. So I'm going to give you a choice with your roll. You can stop the table before you actually step off of the platform, in which case it's not going to actually bar the door. It might stop its complete opening, but it's not going to bar it. But you'll still be on the platform. Or you can step off the platform and push the table all the way up against the door.
Definitely going to step off the platform and push all the way against the door.
Okay. Tara, it's your turn. Which, to be fair, you'd have to move in order for him to get the table up against the door all the way. So.
Okay. I mean, if she can hear and tell that he's moving, the table's actually moving towards the door, she will at the last moment. At the last moment, as he goes to push the table against it, she's gonna drop and backwards roll under the table to come out on the other side. But as she comes out on the other side, she kind of still stays low, and there's she groans. Is it an echo? Someone got an echo going on? I can hear a slight echo.
Yeah, I was hearing something. It might have been just background noise, though.
I can hear
my own
too.
voice back, but only slightly. But yes, and then she will. She sort of groans and clenches her hands into fists, but just stand up, and then. Okay, so the table that was moved, was that the table that was underneath what usually goes up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the dining room table on top of the platform.
And above the platform...
So now we just moved to the platform.
Mm.
Above the platform, is it a hole? Or is it covered with something?
You guys saw enough to see that there is something, there's a floor sliding that'll open. As the table rises up, that's part of the contraption that I didn't explain it that way, but I kind of assumed that was the.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely up, but you can't see into the next room above you at the moment.
She will, presuming that that's where we're planning on going, because we want to go up. She's gonna run to the lever, and basically say, like, everyone get on. Don't know how fast it's gonna move. Like, is there, like, I presume it's not gonna be like mega quick, because then food's gonna go everywhere. So she might pull it. She might
Okay.
just pull it now.
And make people just climb onto it.
Or at least when, like, or maybe, like, hold it until the first couple of people are on.
Okay, well, that's where Silene is right now.
And I think the only person not currently on the platform is Berin. Like Artemisia has already moved up onto the platform. She moved as soon as Silene requested it. Visik didn't leave the platform. He tried pushing the table, couldn't really be helpful, wasn't willing to leave the platform. Berin is the only one who gave it that extra muscle. And I assumed that Silene was standing in a way where she's like, can hold the lever and pull while on the platform.
Wait, Tara,
So-
Silene, now I'm confused.
Oh, if she can't.
Celine did. So
Silene
Tara
went
at this
and
point.
did that as her
Oh.
action.
Okay, I was.
So I didn't want to
Never
correct you on this one because I like this mental image of Tara has like gotten up there too, thinking we've got to get this thing moving, and she's got her hand on Celine's hand on the lever.
Sure.
Silene just kind of looks at her like, I know. I've got this.
Yeah. Oh, she's quite distracted. She's very like,
Yeah.
she's kind of tunnel vision about stuff right now because she's just about holding on. Maybe like Silene would feel Tara's like grip tighten ever so slightly, and at first it feels like it's, you know, a flirty touch, but then maybe like it grips just a little bit too tight. And then Silene sort of like, Tara snatches her hand out of the way. I know. And then very quickly, without sort of giving Silene another look, she will climb onto the platform herself and sort of turn her back from them. From Silene anyway.
All right. Did the lever get pulled yet?
No, I've not really done an action, actually. I've just kind of moved around the room. No, Tara was, well, unless, I don't know if Silene did already, but, or if Silene was waiting.
She might, I guess, if Beren's the only one not on and we just enhanced his dex, she might just shout to Berin to get on and then pull the lever.
Would that be on her turn just gone, or her next turn, then?
Silene was holding an action.
Right, okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, maybe she does it when Tara gets onto the platform, because as far as I like saw it, that Tara did that and then realized, okay, well, Silene probably has this and gets on the thing. And there's an actual action, because I should actually do something. Don't actually. I'm gonna hold a magic missile, even though it's crap. Although, actually, do I have any of those? I'm gonna hold a chromatic orb spell for if he comes through the door.
That sounds smart.
All right. So that was Tara's turn. Okay. Sword gets drawn back again, slams through the door one more time, and then reaches a hand in, and he's able to pull enough of the wood, like just tear it aside, and look in, and he's like sticking his muzzle like through the door. Do you want to hit him with the chromatic orb now?
Yeah, right in the face.
Bop him on the nose.
Range spell attack. Okay. That is 16 plus 7.
Okay, that will hit.
And she's going to. It says a white Dragonborn. I mean, she'd probably know enough about Dragonborn to have an idea of what kind of element angle that would be.
White, so that's cold.
Right.
And then you're not sure about the red veins.
That's fine. Well, she's gonna avoid like fire because red fire. So let's go with lightning. Just hit
Okay.
it with a thing of lightning. So yeah, that hits, doesn't it? And then so that's 3d8 damage right to the face. 12. Lightning
12 damage.
Yeah.
All right. Lightning damage. Just want to double check, make sure that isn't something. Okay. Yeah, you just like sticks his snout through the hole in the door and just gets blasted by a bolt of lightning in the face. It jolts back and then shoves its face back through the door after getting hit, and then doesn't scream, but just says to all of you, "You're not going to escape me a second time." And his words kind of growl out of him in like a physical blast, and all of you need to make a intelligence saving throw.
Well,
Visik is just rolling. I should stop rolling with non-Visik dice. That's my problem. As the words kind of echo through the room, Visik like kind of drops down and pulls his knees to his chest.
got a 12.
How? Okay,
But
that's
he's still on the platform, right?
still on the platform. 12 is
Okay.
12 is a failure.
19.
19 is a success. And what did Berin get?
8.
8. That's also a fail.
Oh.
So all of us who failed take 10 psychic damage, half if you succeeded, and all of us who failed, our next skill check or attack roll is rolled at d6. Is rolled at minus a d6.
Berin slumps down on the floor.
Oh, Baron. Oh no, he's not on the platform.
Oh no, he's not on the
crap.
platform.
Oh crap.
God, do that
I'm gonna need
damage
to
to
go
him.
get him.
So that was the Dragonborn's turn. It is currently Selene's turn.
Okay. So I am going to try and help Baron. Try to negate that bad thing. Now he already has advantage on Dex. I can give
If you
him-
just grab him and pull him onto the platform, that'll be all that's really needed.
Okay, I mean I'm weak, but sure, I'll attempt that.
I'll allow it.
Why not? Okay,
Think of
so that's
me
what
as a
Selene can
cello.
try and do.
And
Yeah.
since you're going to be going next, Tara, did you want to just pull the lever as soon as Baron's on?
Yeah. I
Selene
thought
has,
she
had
pulled
already pulled it, but
Oh, okay, yeah. So you pulled it
Sorry.
earlier. Now you just grab Baron and like kind of.
just
You
like, get
guys-
up here.
Artemisia's knelt down next to you, Selene, and is helping you, and you like pulling Baron up. And as the platform slowly raises, you see as the Dragonborn finishes just tearing the door in half, and it just starts to push the table back. And by the time it's like in the room, the platform is raised to the ceiling like that. The top part is opened, and then you hear like the sound of it closing shut. It's like a metal frame. So, and as you are raised out, you find yourself traveling through just darkness. You have walls all around you for a while, and then there's another shifting floor that opens and raises you, and then it closes again. And as you look at where you've risen into, you see that you are standing in the reception hall of the manor, back where you had
Oh, no.
started. You hear the sound of grating, whirling metal, and see that below you in the ballroom, this floor has started moving again. But this time, the obelisk has risen up on a mechanical platform, not unlike the one the table was on. And by it are its plates with the engravings of the different Dragonborns that have been sort of swirling and moving around it. They're still suspended around it by nothing. And standing across from you on the balcony with her hands like gripping the metal and looking down expectantly at the obelisk is the Monarch. She looks up at you as the five of you rise up on the platform and smiles. She's still not wearing her mask, still is human looking woman, face covered in red paint. She smiles and says, "So, you have all returned. How wonderful." And then you all see Artemisia take a step forward, but now her hair is no longer held back, but is flowing like behind her in spectral, like glowing form. Her dress is tattered and torn. Her hands end in massive claws. Her eyes have gone dark. She opens her mouth and screams at the Monarch, and black veins pulsate from her throat, from her mouth across her throat, across her body. The mural, the stained glass mural, explodes outward as she shouts. And that is pretty much the end of our session for today.
Has my second cousin always been a banshee?